name is Azaria, and this is I Am Her. Thank you for tuning in to my first ever YouTube video, I guess. But yeah, it's been a long awaited, and even since that I've announced that I was about to start YouTube, it was very difficult, even for myself, and just having things to be able to do it and make a video with. It was very difficult, but I feel like all things have a reason to all come together, and so it did. And so it's finally time, and today is today. And so I mulled over what would be my first YouTube video and what would be about, and how I could best feel like I could get myself out there. But came to a realization, and after mulling about, my first video will be my testimony. And I feel like, you know, don't judge me if a tear off you spills. So might as well just start. It's not exactly my testimony. I've been saved as a child Christian, if anybody needed to know. But I've been saved from about 11, 12, and it's been pretty much a thing for me. Not as a thing, but it's been a connection that I have lived off of and made a lot of life choices on. And it's been a great journey, because there's different aspects, and you'd be surprised to think about how it's not all like the glitz. You know, some people show that it's okay being a Christian, yeah, but it's not easy, because being a Christian in a place where not everybody is going to be nice or just accept you warm-heartedly is not necessarily easy. It's a lot of temptation, and I can't say that I haven't fell to temptation, because that would be a lie, and I have. And I feel like, you know, it all helps us to get to a certain place. Now, since all of that introduction, okay, one quick part added to the introduction. This will be how I found my calling, because as I said, I was a Christian from a young age, and it didn't really take a lot of things to woo me into it due to my background, mainly family. And so, disclaimer, if you're my family, do not get all weepy on me, okay? And I don't want nobody asking me, oh, well, this happened. No, this is mine. This is mine. This is out there, and eventually you will understand, because all things come to the front. And so, yeah. So, moving along. It started, well, I could say, 2017. I was admitted into FMU, Florida Memorial University, the illustrious Florida Memorial University to be exact. And before then, I had some troubles entering school, mainly because living in the Bahamas and having to, I guess, deal with certain aspects of communication at that time for me had been difficult with the people located there. And so I hadn't arrived until the semester after I was supposed to, which was 2017 spring. And that's fine, because it all worked out, and I ended up having and finding, you know, wonderful friends and having wonderful experiences. And throughout that time, it was pretty good. I can't say that every semester I had a great time, mainly financially, and it was difficult at times. So even if I had a scholarship, it was at the best. But yeah. So moving on. So it really hitched up during 2019, and there was a really, was it 2019? No, 2018. I'm sorry, 2018. There was a really bad storm that had hit Miami. I don't quite remember the storm, but I had to stay with a cousin, and it was pretty okay. The storm apparently did a lot of people really badly, and but my family was okay being back in Nassau, and I was okay. But one of the nights, one in particular, that was really rough, and I went to sleep because my cousins, they had a apartment, and we had moved there to stay safe from the storm due to the fact that a lot of flooding was happening. And so I went to sleep, and I had a dream. It was a dream that I somehow got a flying giraffe to take me to some place that I had no idea of, and it dropped me in front of this big like mega center where, you know, like people have like really big churches. And so I walked through the door, and I was welcomed by a lady sitting at the desk. She had pamphlets. I didn't really take into mind what the pamphlets were really saying, but yeah. And so I walked in, and I saw a bunch of people just standing just really still and all over around the place, just standing up really still, and I was confused, like, what is going on here? You know, like anybody else would be like, well, what happening? And so I looked around, and then a lady came up to me, and she's like, why are you not dancing? And I'm like, huh? And I'm looking around, I'm like, ain't nobody else dancing. Why should I be dancing? I'm confused. And so in my head, I heard a voice. He said, they're not dancing. He said, they need you to set them free. And I need you to set them free. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, these people are like not enslaved, but they are captive, held captive in their own selves. And so the first thing I did was run back to my giraffe, and I got up on his back, and I flew back to where I came from, because I was like, huh, what are you talking about? And so then I, like, something in my soul said, this is God talking to you, okay? And so when, I mean, all of this is happening during the worst storm ever. It was so powerful. Everything was blowing, the trees had fallen, everything. You could still hear it from outside, but I knew I was still sleeping. And so I went back on my giraffe, and I flew back to wherever I was. And I know, I'm sorry if this sounds very comical, at the same time we're not like real, but it was just my dream, and a lot of things was happening, okay? And so God told me to go back. You need to go back to save those people. I was like, I can't save these people. He said, I can help you. So I was like, well, gee, well, what is this? So I went back on a giraffe to go and find the people again. Okay. I went to the desk of the lady, and I didn't know what to do, but all I knew in my spirit was to do, pray, just start speaking, and it'll come. And as I started to speak, and I walked through, and I walked and touched people. Excuse me. Okay. As I speak and walk through, people started to be free, because apparently that they were under some satanic attack. And so after the people were free, I went back on the giraffe and I left. And it was as if the devil himself came after me. Whoa. Sorry. The sad thing is I'm not even halfway through. Anyway, moving along. And as soon as that happened, I woke up. And I woke up and I saw in the ceiling this big creature on the ceiling of the room. So you know, right then I tried to close my eyes because I was like, Father, I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to see a thing. Don't let me see. I started to pray, and right then the ceiling like almost exploded with whatever this creature was, and it went away. So okay, the next day I called my mom. I was like, Mommy, I think God trying to talk to me. She said, so what did he say? So I told her about what he said. And so she was like, well, Azaria, what do you think? So I was like, well, I think that's what he want me to do, but I don't know how he want me to do this. And for some reason in my heart, I was feeling like, well, maybe it's in Africa. Or, you know, maybe because I was thinking giraffe. I don't know what, you know, where they come from. I might be wrong. Either way, like that was in my head at that time. And so fast forwarding, I was still a bio major. I was about my third or like my second year, like the last half, like my second year of being a bio major. And that's when the semester 2019 came in, 2019 fall. Now, summer 2019 was when everything changed, everything, and I had a moment of realization saying that, you know, coming to me like it was just constant signs of, okay, like I need you to speak on your word, and I need you to speak for me, because my thing from I was younger, I mean, I don't know if anybody necessarily knew, but my thought process was I want to speak for the people who can't speak for themselves. And at that time I was thinking of animals because I wanted to become a vet. I wanted to be a vet so badly, and that's why, hence the bio major situation. The second week in classes, and I'm struggling to get in because apparently that semester, well, I knew that semester I didn't do so well in one or two classes, which caused me to have a problem transferring into the other ones. I think it was about like math. It was just not working with me. Okay, it was not. I think it was a math class. It was a math class, and mind you, I had about 4 or 5 more math classes to go, so I don't know exactly how that would have went. But anyway, moving along. So I had problems getting in, and then I was also having problems with staying in school because I had already been notified that I had to like leave my dorm, and that these things are happening, you know, and it's time. I need to get out of the room. I barely could have even moved anything in because I was too afraid. And so at that time I was still in my suitcase, and my roommate happened to be my friend, which was wonderful, and so she let me, you know, stay in that room with her. I won't say because I'm not incriminating anybody, but at the same time, God bless her heart, okay? And so I went to Provost was it the provost? I think it was the provost. I don't know, but whoever she is, the Lord sent her there that day, okay? And we had a talk, and she asked me, she was like, what do you want to do with your life? And I was talking to her about the whole situation of having to go through all these things, and you know how I felt about it. But she said, like, so well, why don't you just do it? And at that time, I'm thinking, okay, Father, I can't call my parents and tell them that, hey, I want to change my major to this, that, and the third, and I don't want to, break their hearts because they're spending money to send me here. Like, it's hard, it's hard, and they're really trying, and people sacrificing things for me to be able to go. And I was like, I don't know. And I broke down in tears because I was like, how can I do this? And then I decided to it's just like, okay, God could take care of me. He did it before. He's done a number of things for me that I know that he's there. So if he decides that this is where he wants me, I'll go there willingly, and I will. And so I did, and that day I changed my major, and I had classes that night, and I went, and it was wonderful. And after that, it was just a whole new set of eyes, but not just as yet, because I'll get to the eyes part in a minute. So I still was having problems with paying my school fee. It was because it was coming in so slow, and my bank would allow me only a certain amount of money to come through, and so days I had to wait for clearance for certain things because they wasn't allowing me to clear certain stuff. And I wasn't able to clear the business office, so I went to the president's office and spoke to a man there who was over, giving me payment plans and stuff, and he's helped me before. And so this time he couldn't. So he said he couldn't, and he really would, but he couldn't. And it was difficult because I would wake up every day, I would get dressed, and I would go walk myself across the lake and go to the business office, and I would have anxiety every day I would get up to go. And I'm nervous, and I'm speeding past me. I don't want nobody to see me. Like, it was just rough. And I'm just rushing, mainly because I didn't want the dorm matron see me, and the head of the department over the residential life, and because I just didn't want to get kicked out at the same time. And I was still trying to pay at the same time, but everything was just taking really long. And so one day I went there, and I was just having, it was just like I was destroyed, because I couldn't understand. I was like, Lord, you're supposed to be protecting me. And I would pray every time I go there, because I'm like, I just need help. I can't do it myself. And one day I went there, and I was so hurt by one of the persons who was working there, because I just couldn't understand why she would treat me in such a way. But and so I ran, like, basically after I passed, I walked myself away, but then I ran to the bathroom because I couldn't hold my tears. I called my sister, and I was like, I'm so tired of this. Because yet, not being in the dorm meant I didn't have an ID card, so that hindered me from getting food. And after I couldn't get food, and I had to pay for my food, obviously. So after money started getting low, God bless her heart, there was a lady in the cafeteria every day. Every day this woman would allow me to come in without card, not going, knowing the situation. And you know, because you can only ask so much of your friends to keep doing, and after you just got, I just didn't want to weigh down, because I didn't necessarily like to, because I have a say where I feel like I don't want to be a burden. But God bless her. I don't know if I would ever see that woman again, but I know God placed her there at that door so I could eat. I never went a day hungry, and I thank him for it, because he knows what my stomach means to me. Anyway, moving along. So it was starting to get really bad, because I had to, every day was like, okay, Azaria, have you dealt with these things? Have you dealt with it? Eventually I'm going to have to move you out because you still haven't cleared yet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm working on it, and all through this time I can't spirit, like, I ask God to see what he wants me to see. And quick backtrack, younger, we have in our house we were able to see things moving, spiritual things, and this happened because I remember at a time I asked Lord, I don't want to see it, please take it away, I don't want to see them no more, I don't want to see it. And so after I made my decision, I said, Lord, clear my eyes and allow me to see you. I had demons walking through the walls of my roommates. I watched this woman crawl out of the mirror. She had a Japanese mask, it looked like, and she crawled out. And if you ever look, I am sorry for not telling you that I saw it, but I was scared of what you would have thought. And so I hope you're okay. And thank you for the wig. Yeah. But yeah, and on the side of me, demons standing in the middle of my room whilst we sleep at night. I remember feeling him and watching him walk to my bed. And under the covers, just hiding and praying, because I was so scared. I was so scared. And then there was another storm. I wasn't able to go to my cousin again, but I was able to visit another cousin, And I was wondering, I was like, you know, in my head, I was like, I wonder if anything is going to happen again. Even though it's at a different person, but I know during storms, spiritual activity picks up. And it was the storm that devastated, you know, Freeport, and it had like all this flooding and so many people dying, so many people losing, you know, houses and things and everything, and some people really had a rough time. And I checked with my parents and they were okay, but it was just a hard time being away from family when you're hearing so much devastation in one place and then knowing how close it could be. And I remember one day I was laying in the bed, and I just fell asleep, and then I felt this immense pressure just sit on me, and I felt like I couldn't breathe and like I was choking. And so as I opened my eyes, I saw this humongous big black like blob, just big. If you understand what a tick looks like an engorged tick, like what is on, you know, dogs or fleas, like what is on dogs or cats, not a flea. But anyway, moving along, and it was so huge, but I didn't see it at first, because I realized now that when I opened my eyes, I saw nothing. But when I realized, because my cousin had a TV on the side, I was able to be very, just the slightest turn of my head, because it was also holding my head, to turn and look my eyes into the TV, and then the reflection was the blob, the tick sitting on me. And I couldn't scream, I couldn't move, and I was able just to pass my mouth open to be able to call Jesus' name, and it moved. It was like a realization, all of this, to understand that this was the right choice. All of this was confirmation that you were in the right place, and this is what you're supposed to be doing. So I went back, still having problems with school, but I'm still attending classes, and I am going through school even was a difficulty, especially with the major change, because everyone would give you that, oh, well, why would you do that? But you almost finished, so that makes sense. Like, not being in the position of that person, yes, you would not understand on why they made the decision. Only I would. And at the same time, I was grappling with the understanding of that some people won't understand, some people won't get it, and that was okay, because the only person who needs to get it is you and God, because He's the only person who is feeding you every day, covering you every day. He's there. And all this time also, you know, my parents also was covering me, and I could hear it in her voice, my mommy. You know, she felt really bad. I know she did. And she felt like I was suffering in a way, but I would do it again. And after a while, it got really, really bad, and I really wasn't able to necessarily speak to anybody about it, but I confided in a friend, and she knows who she is. And because it seems so far-fetched to understand and to be able to say these things to people and help them, you know, get them to understand where I'm coming from, and I'm moving around like nothing's happening, and I'm all okay. And one note on that: check upon your friends, you know, the ones that don't make too much noise, or like they seem to have it together. It they need help too at times. And moving along with the story, it's almost to a close, so yeah. It got to a point where I had to leave campus one day. He told me, my RD told me I could not come back. If he sees me back on campus, I will be kicked out. Because at that time, it had already went so far. And I went back to the president's office with, you know, I went back to the president's office, still nothing, no help. And I snuck back in the room. I asked the Lord to forgive me. I did. And I cried myself to sleep. I cried so much. I cried silently so many nights because I just was really trying to understand it. Excuse me. And so one day I woke up and I got dressed, and I was like, I'm just going to ask for favor, and ask for, you know, God to bless us. And I cannot lie to you, I walked out of my dorm room and I felt, and it looked as if I had just got a new pair of HD eyes. Every color, the leaves, the sky, the lake, everything, everybody looked like they had hit with a vibrant color. I could not understand it. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And I cried because I was like, how? Because I was like, Lord, show me that you're still with me. And because there were times it was getting dark, it was really getting dark, and I was having a rough time. And it just, just hit me that I am here for you, and I will show you everything you need to see. I will give you new eyes to see. It was beautiful. I just broke down crying because I couldn't understand how a leaf could look so pretty. How grass could be so green and vibrant. And yet they worship him just without nothing in return. Them being alive is just to work for him, just to live for him. Just as simple as it is to be a tree and a flower, a bird. They would bow to him, and that's what that whole walk changed my perspective forever on everything. And went back. As I was walking at the same time, I was listening to my headphones because headphones were very often my coping mechanism. I didn't really want to speak to anybody, but I had my music playing. I was praying, trying to stay in constant prayer, trying to stay in tune with him. One day, song just stopped, and it was a message. I can't really remember what the message said, but it was the exact message that I needed right then to give me the boost, to give me the power to move on for another day, to be able to go and face people that at this point I am afraid to even talk to, or anxious. And about a week later, from my mother saying that somebody decided she wanted to pay back something that someone had done for her when she was my age in college. She gave me $5,000 without even knowing my name or what was happening. And I'm asking God to bless her as well. It was all confirmation, and from then on it's been a interesting pathway. I was able to finish that semester with straight A's, and I now had an understanding of what my mission is and what is my point on this earth. And yes, I want to be a missionary, and missionaries come in different forms. We do not have to be broke people, okay? God owns all the money in the world. And yes, and so I hope you guys follow me on that adventure, and I hope you are inspired. I know everybody's story is different. This is mine, and I hope you follow, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to pray and be great.